On our first day with Robert, we were asked to start with an exercise inspired by Marcel Duchamp of dropping metre lengths from a height to see what shapes they would form. In doing this, we created the new metre, which made you think about breaking the boundaries of a regular thought of pattern. In doing this, we created small masterpieces and all discovered interesting ways of collating research, including videos, photocopies and photographs.
So we've just been dropping tapes from about a metre. I love this hair combo, by the way. Different. Yeah. Been different. Experimental.
It's sort of a new approach to what we've been learning. Like, it's sort of taking a new idea outside the box. Yeah, we're not really used to it, are we? I don't know if I like it.
We were asked to look at Marcel Duchamp's work and collate words to describe what we saw and what inspired us. The footwear team were also asked to look at Rachel Horn to get inspired by the mood and tone of her work. We began to experiment with the shapes of the metre and how it fell, and documenting the research in the sketchbooks, but it soon became apparent that we needed to get bigger and bolder and more 3D to achieve bigger and better results. Team worked together to look at how smaller shapes of material fell and the details in the folds and random creases of the material. It was just all one large experiment. Initially we started on the mannequin stands, but then eventually moved on to the footwear lasts. Our first experiment was to create extended lines on the last pattern pieces, adding an extra shape to each side to the pattern and combining them to produce a shoe that was more 3D. Next came the idea of combining monochrome materials together to create a patchwork effect and then put the pattern pieces we'd created onto it. Because of the difference in the fabric, it held its shape differently and the other style of shoe was produced. Afterwards, we came up with the idea of using purely PVC material and a different way of putting two pieces together. Instead of sewing the material together, we started to melt the PVC and it gave it a rustic and almost seamless look. Onto no wasted shoes, taking half a metre of material and making sure not to waste any of it. To do this, we had to condense down the fabric. Some people added darts, while others went for a patchwork approach. This made the shoes bulky and almost didn't resemble shoes anymore. In the end, for me, it was resolved by cutting up the material instead of using it as a whole piece of fabric. The darts were still in the fabric and it was manipulated into a very architectural shaped shoe. What have I taken away with me this week? To look at the details in the most unexpected places and to see the beauty in the most simplistic features. Quick experiments are the most effective to open up your mind, and when experimenting, don't be afraid to take risks. If it doesn't work out, there's nothing stopping you from starting all over again.